Hi guys, in this video we're going to discuss how to use the RayTrader right on the chart. If you haven't seen the videos on the settings or the trade panels themselves, please head back and watch those. If you've already seen them, stick with me and we'll see it working on the chart. So first of all, what we're going to discuss is the RayTrader's entry. Then we're going to move to stop and target placement. Then we're going to move to trailing options and break-even function. And then we're going to look at the chart trader buttons and the reversal bar. So let's get started on the entry function. Okay, so RayTrader, the name itself is actually not by chance. It's because it uses any line inside of the NinjaTrader drawing tools like a Ray line. We chose that because it has a cool name. But it can use any line, so a normal line, an arrow line, horizontal line, an extended line, and the Ray line as well. It doesn't use the vertical line because you can't really cross a vertical line. You're just putting a breaker in there. So basically the way we do this is we draw a line. Now we're going to use the Ray line. And this Ray line you can see surpasses the last bar on the chart. Once we click the Ray line, you see new boxes pop up and we get a choice in between buy, sell, or reverse, and then touch and close. Basically, the buy, sell, and reverse are mutually exclusive, and so is the touch and close. So if you click the buy and the touch, when price comes and touches this line, it will automatically enter you in a trade. If you put sell touch, it's going to automatically enter you in a sell trade. If you put reverse and touch, it's going to reverse your currently open trade. Now, this only works if you're already in a trade. It's not going to work if you're not in a trade because it doesn't have anything to reverse from. Now, it's the same thing with the close. So the bar must touch the line and then close either underneath or above it, depending if you want to buy or sell. So you're only going to buy when it closes above it, and you're only going to sell when it closes below it. Now, the reverse is, of course, if you're already in a sell and you click the reverse, the RayTrader actually waits for the bar to close above the line and then enter you in a trade. Vice versa for sell. So if you're already in a buy, you click the reverse button, you actually have to have a down bar that closes below the line after it gets touched. And of course, if you want to deactivate the lines, all you have to do is click the little X button on each of the boxes. So you've got the box right to the left, or if you want to disarm all lines, you get a button right there at the top that has an X on it that disarms all your lines at once. Now, if you're using a normal line or an arrow line, you got to make sure that the line, the end anchor or the end point of the line actually goes past the last bar on the chart, because once price and the bars on the chart actually start catching up to that line, once they surpass the line will automatically deactivate. So if you want to have a time-sensitive entry, so we're using the Ray line because we don't want to have a time-sensitive entry, but if we wanted a time-sensitive entry, let's say I want to be entered by 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, for example, just before the market closes by 1 hour, I'm going to draw a normal line. Once price passes that line, the line automatically deactivates because we don't want to enter a trade after the line has been passed. Now that we spoke about the entry, let's actually enter a trade and see how our targets and stops are actually put on the chart. So right now, as you can see in the positions panel, we have the 4 targets, the stop, and the maximum amount of quantity and our actual quantity. Our actual quantity is set to 2. Now that we're actually in a trade, you can see that our stop is set at 12 ticks and our targets are both set at 10 and 20 ticks. That's target 1 and target 2. If I cancel any of these by mistake, they will automatically be put back on the chart. This is a nifty little function that you can use for targets. So if, for example, I want to quickly change from 20 ticks to 30 ticks, and as you can see, we've got target 1, 2, 3, and 4. They are 10, 20, 30, and 40. So if I deactivate my target 2, you can see that my target 2 automatically moved to target 3. So basically, this is a system where it fills the next target that you've got. So now I'm going to deactivate my target 3, and as you can see, it filled my target 4. Once I deactivate my target 4, bam, all my targets move to target 1 because we don't have any more targets activated. Now, both the stops and the targets have a maximum number of ticks that you can move your stop when price is going against you, or a maximum amount of ticks where you can move your target if price is going in your favor. We call this feature the Ray Snap feature. So as you can see, I grabbed my stop, I moved it away from price. It was at 12 ticks. I moved it to about 30. And as you can see, snap back to 15. That's because I have it in my settings. Maximum stop is set to 15 ticks because my trading plan does not let me trade more than 15 ticks per trade. That's the maximum loss that I'm willing to incur per position per trade. Now this works the same for targets as well. Now let's move to the break-even features. So the break-even features are fairly simple. We have a trigger and we have an offset. When price goes that many ticks in our favor, whatever the trigger is set to, it automatically moves our stop to break even plus or minus whatever you've got in there number of ticks. Right now we've got it at 0, so it's going to move it right on the entry line. If we have it at negative, it's going to move it in such a way that if our stop gets hit, then we actually lose 1, 2, 3, whatever number of ticks you've got set in there. If it's positive, then we actually win 1, 2, 3, and again, whatever number of ticks you've got in there. We also have a manual break-even feature where you can just click that button and it automatically moves your stop loss to break even. But for this, you got to make sure that price is actually in your favor. Otherwise, it's not going to move your stop. We made it in such a way so that you can't exit the trade just by moving your stops automatically. You actually have to do that manually. Now for the trail stop functionality, we spoke about the number of choices that you've got in the previous video, so watch that and you get to see what exactly those trail types are. Right now, we've got it set to none, but once we set it to, let's say, chandelier, with the chandelier, you can see that we have one line above and one line below, depending on when it's broken. It is because we have a 0 offset. Now, if we set the offset to 1 or 2 or 3, you can see that the lines are actually moving away from the actual chandelier lines. Those lines are the ones that you actually trail behind. This is good for a quick visual, so you always see where your next stop's going to be. Now, with the trail type, you have the same options as with the break even. You've got the offset and you've got the trigger, but it also has a number of bars back as well. So it's got something additional. The trigger, obviously the same as the break even, it automatically starts trailing your stops the moment the trigger is hit, and that's a number of ticks. Now with the bars back, you don't always have to trail behind your last bar. You can trail X number of bars back as well. So for example, we're using the chandelier. We don't want to trail on the current chandelier value. We want to trail, let's say, 3 bars back because we want to give the market a little bit more room to breathe. So we set this number of bars back, we set it to 3, and we're not trailing on the current bar, we're actually trailing 3 bars back. Now for the chart trader buttons. We've duplicated the chart trader buttons on our panels as well because we wanted to integrate those buttons inside of the RayTrader as well. So you can quickly access buy market, sell market, buy ask, buy bid, close, reverse. So you get those buttons to use within the RayTrader as well. If the buy market and the buy bid and ask, or sell bid and ask, or sell market are detrimental to your trading, we have an option so that you can take those out through the settings panel, and we discussed that in a previous video. Now the reversal bar function. With the reversal bar function, it's got 2 parts to it. We're first going to go through no trade at all, and then we're going to go into when we're actually trading. So no trade at all, if we click the buy button, we're actually entered in the next green candle, so green or up bar. So we enter a trade the next up bar. So if you're in a downtrend, let's say for example you're using Renko bars, if you're in a downtrend, the next up bar is going to enter you in a long trade. Now vice versa for the sell button, we're only going to enter when we get a red bar or a down bar. So again, if you're using like the Renko bars and you want next bar down, you're in an uptrend, and the next bar down you want to enter short, you click the reversal bar sell and you're going to be entered short. Now the reverse button doesn't actually work unless you're in a trade. obviously the same as the one on the chart. It doesn't actually work because it doesn't have anything to reverse. So buy button again. If we're in a long trade, it's going to add to our trade with the quantity that we have set in our quantity box. If we're already in a trade and our total quantity is more than the maximum quantity, obviously it's only going to let us enter with the maximum quantity that we've got set in there. So if we're short and we click the buy button, then it's going to close the exact number of positions that you've got set in your quantity box from the short trade. Now, if you have more contracts selected in the quantity box than there are contracts actually short, then it's just going to close you out of the trade because we decided that it would be an error on your part. And if you really wanted to reverse, you just would click the reversal button. Now, vice versa, for the sell button, if you're in a long trade, then it's going to close out the X number of positions that you've got set in your quantity box. If you're already short, it's going to add on to that up to the maximum number of contracts. With the reversal, if you're long and you click the reverse, then it's going to wait for a down bar and it's going to put you short. If you're short, then it's going to wait for an up bar and it's going to put you in a trade long. That's it for the RayTrader on the chart. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Grab it for 14 days, use it, see its power for yourself with your trading style, and have an awesome rest of your day, guys. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you like its content, then please hit the like and subscribe buttons on YouTube, share it to your social media, follow us on social media, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome rest of your day until then.